Okay, as we have already completed creation of quotations and also creation of sales order, next step is to see how to enter the sales invoices into the system. So when it comes to the sales invoices, you know sales invoices can be created through several ways. One method is you can convert the quotation directly into the sales invoice, right? Second method is you can convert the sales orders into the invoice. And also the third method is without having quotations, without having sales orders, we can create direct sales invoices to our customers. So we will look at all these options. Now at the moment you know how to convert the quotations into the sales invoice. We have already done one activity for that. And the other two activities need to be checked. That is how to convert the sales orders into the quotations as well as how to create the direct sales invoices to your customers. To do that activity, first of all, we will check whether we have completed all the other activities related up to that level. So as we can remember, we have created the proposal quotations. So if you want to view the created quotation, we can go to the view and edit quotation. There you can see only one items are viewing here in the Peachtree package. But if you come to the Sage 50 software package, you will be able to see all three items and with the status, whether it is converted or not, that status you can see that once you come to the when you are doing the practical classes in the lab, you can see the differences in this particular screen between the Peachtree and the Sage. So the quoted list is at the moment here we have only one because two is converted. Then if you go to the sales order level, at the moment we have created two orders plus one converted item. That is the first one. You can see the sales order number one is a converted sales order from the quotation. Thereby you can see one quotation is already waiting there and three sales orders are remaining here. And also one quotation is converted into the invoice. That's why though we have not discussed the invoice window, we can see currently created invoice. This is a converted invoice from the quotation number 3. You can see quotation number 3 is converted into the invoice and that invoice is already there in the system. So this is the current situation. Now we will be moving into the discussion of how to create the invoices. Again, you may be having two options whereby you can access into the invoice window. First option is you can go to the task menu, main menu command, and from there you can see the separate command called sales invoicing. By clicking it, we will be able to access into the sales invoice window, which is very similar to the sales order window, right? Second method, if you are in the customer sales module, then the third option of the customer sales module, this navigation center flow chart, is going to be the sales invoice. By clicking it and then clicking the new sales invoice, we will be able to access into the new window whereby we can create the sales invoices. So yeah, we can see the lot of activities are there at the top that we can do various activities, and meantime it's very similar. You need to select the customer first of all, and once you select the customer, if you have already created sales orders, you can see this particular tab sales apply to sales order tab will get open, whereby you can see the orders already placed against this customer. If you are receiving the goods against this particular order, what we have to enter only the quantities what we are going to ship to the customer, right? So out of 100, if you are only shipping 50 unit, then you can type 50. Out of 40, all 40 is sent, then you can put 40. So ship quantities can be entered. All other things will be automatically taken. Then other than that, you have to enter the invoice date and the new invoice number. Okay, so these are the information need to be provided when you are going to be applied to sales order tab. So if you are not going with the sales order and you want to directly sell item into your customer, then you should go to the apply to sales tab. Here we need to select the item which we are directly going to sell it to the customer, and we have to enter the quantities how much we are going to sell it to that particular person. Depending on the situation, whether the VAT applicable or not, you can enter the VAT value. And also if you are charging the delivery charges, then in that case you have to enter the delivery cost as well, right? For example, if I will put that Now this particular situation, when you are going to save this transaction, this will be updating your general ledger immediately, because this is the last step whereby you are going to deliver this item now, or given the item into the customer, so it will be recorded like a sales. Now look at the journal entry. Journal entry is differently shown. So here you can see from the particular entry we got the VAT. So the VAT amount will be credited into the Inland Revenue Department account, and also the sales of cotton trousers gent will be credited sales account 112,500. And meantime, as I told you, this is the perpetual method. Immediately cost of sales and the inventory calculations are going to happen. So you can see cost of sales account going to be debited with the cost value, and the inventory account, respective inventory account, is going to be credited by that value, because the inventory is going out and that will be added into the cost of sales. So no adjustment entry at the end of the year. Every time when you do the business, cost calculations are made. And meantime, we got the freight income, other income. So we got that into the freight income account, 2000 credit, and the total value will be debited into the customer account. And if the customer is made the payment, then we can see the cash receipt journal as well. At the moment, we are not discussing that part. We will be seeing that later on. So this is the situation. And also we can print this particular invoice, because the invoice need to be sent to the or given to the customer. So you can go to the print preview option and then print your invoice. Though this is the invoice of the company which is given to the particular customer with the goods. So you can see all the information, and also you can see the messages what we have set. Overdue invoices are subject to the late charges. So you will get these messages automatically appearing in the bottom of the invoice, whereby you give the notification to your customer. So this is the situation. I hope you got the idea of how to enter the invoices. Now we will be creating invoices based on the given examples in our handout. So I will cancel this and go to the activity, and we will move on to the activity table which is given to us to enter the invoices. So here we can see now activity number 10.4, record the following sales invoices for your company. So first of all, first invoice is created against the sales order. You can see these two items are against the sales order, order number 2, order number 3. So we will look at how to enter the invoice against the sales orders first, and then we will move on to the other one, right? So that means we have already created some sales orders. Order number 2 and 3 is there. So we are going to convert these orders into the sales invoices. Now when you are doing the activities in the lab, you can see in the new software package, that is Sage 50 2019 package, giving option whereby you can convert directly from here this particular sales order into the invoice, so that we can see in your lab activity. Right. So we will go to the sales invoice and open up the new sales invoice. Then we will go to the activity. First of all, we have to select the customer ABC001. So we will select our customer. Now you can see this activated tab is activating. That means apply to sales order tab is activating only if the orders are there. So you can see the order number 2 is waiting there. Then we can go to the invoicing date, that is 30th of April 2020. Go to the date calendar, select the appropriate date. Then you can see the invoice number. So this is our invoice number SI006. So we will enter that invoice number, and then we ask to select the order number 2 need to be selected. So you need to go to the apply to sales order tab, drop down and select the order number 2, where we can see we have given the order to this particular customer related to the cotton trousers 100 unit and the cotton trousers ladies 40 units. Now we need to ship these items. See how much of items are shipped. So the total quantities, as you can see from the invoice, total quantities are shipped to the customer with the normal price, right? So that will be entered in here. How many units sold? 100 unit of trousers gent and the 40 units of ladies trousers, and the prices are not changing. It is normal price, right? And also VAT is applicable. You can see the 8% VAT is applicable. There are no freight charges to this customer. So the total bill value come to now 301,320. So the final journal entry where the ledgers are going to update, you can see the big journal entries are coming up now. So the first part is the gent trouser where the Inland Revenue Department is credited, and the gents trousers income account, that means sales account, is credited, and the cost calculation for that particular item is going to be calculated automatically with the inventory account. And also you can see then credited the ladies one, credited into the sales account, cost calculation, and the total value is debited to the customer. So it's a perfect one. So if you go to the print option and see again the print preview of this one, so you can see the transaction, the messages are appearing now. This transaction will cause the customer's balance go over by credit limit 154,000. So we have given the notification credit limit. You can see once we create this customer invoice, it will exceed the credit limit given to the customer. So if you say yes, it will allow you to do the transaction. So you can see now this is the invoice. This is the invoice created to the particular customer, right? So we have given the option, so we can now save this. Once it's saved, automatically ledgers will be updated, right? So let's click the save to update this particular first invoice. And again, you can see the message is appearing. You say yes to apply it. So the second invoice, again we are going to create another invoice. SI007 is the invoice number, and your customer will be WAS001. So let's select the WAS001, our customer. Then the date of this particular transaction is going to be 11th of May now. Moving into the calendars carefully, 11th of May transaction. Invoice number is automatically taken, 7, and sales order number 3 need to be selected. So select the sales order number 3. It will appear there, all the information. Then the quantity is sent, 2020, both items are sent. So they have ordered 2020, we have placed the order 2020 and sending all 20 items to the customer. So the total value come to 87,480 with the VAT. And also it says freight charges, we are going to charge 1,000 rupees. 1,000 is paid like the 1,000 charge for the transport cost, and meantime you can see now the value will go up to the certain level, right? So that will be, then as you can see, this particular customers terms and conditions are COD. COD mean cash on delivery method, whereby we can see the total amount bill value will be 88,580, 560, that is paid by the customer simultaneously on the same day. So 88,560 is paid by the check number 64645,789 of the BOC check by the particular customer. So we will be receiving that check to the BOC account. So let's see how to enter that as well. So here you can see amount paid on sales button is there. So click that. Then you take the reference number. Your check number need to be entered. That is the BOC check number. What is given here, we need to enter as a reference number to the customer check. Enter as a reference number. So you can enter that here, reference number. Then the amount he paid, full amount he paid 88,560 rupees by the check, and that particular check will be deposited into the BOC account or CLBOC account. No deposit ticket ID is provided. That means this particular check will be deposited into the bank in a later date. It's a dated check, but immediately he has paid and we accepted that. Now you look at the situation. In this type of situation, then you okay this, and that will appear here. So zero value, not net due amount is zero because he paid everything. Now if you go to the journal entry, you can see the first journal entry is the sales journal of the items. You can say freight charges and the total payable amount. And then if you go to the cash journal, you can see the payment made by the customer. So it is bank account is debit and customer account is credited. So both transactions are there once you enter this particular transaction, right? So if you want to print the invoice and see the print invoice also here, we can see it. It's a different type of print invoice. You can see the amount due is 88,500, payment by the customer 88,560, total due amount is 60. There are no messages appearing at the bottom for the customer, right? So that will be the situation for the second person. So we can save that and then update the ledger accounts. Then the third activity, you can see now we don't have any more orders. We will be going for the direct invoicing. So these are the direct invoicing option. AMN001 will be the customer. Select the customer, AMN001. Then you have to get the date of the transaction, 3rd of April 2020, change the date. Date is 3rd April 2020, and then we can see invoice number SI001. So we have to change this. SI001 is the first invoice, direct invoice created, and no order. So you can see it is not activated even. It is, you can't use that because no orders are there. So you have to use the apply to sales tab, whereby you can select the item which you are going to sell. BL001 item need to be selected from the list. BL001 quantity, you are selling this customer 100 unit with the normal price. We need to check the unit price whether it's a normal price, it's correct. And then another item he is purchasing t-shirt TSH001 50 unit, TSH001 50 unit. Again, the normal price will be applicable to the customer. So that will be, they again check that whether it's a normal price, and the total value including the VAT will come to 178,200 total. No payment is made, no delivery cost or the freight charges are charged from the customer, right? So that will be the next activity, whereby you don't have to go and check each and every journal entry and the print previews. Now we can update our ledgers by clicking the save command. So the next activity, again, the direct invoices. There are several more direct invoices. Let me put that down. And then we'll select the next customer, GGF001. GGF001 is the customer. Select the customer. Then the date of the transaction is going to be 10th of April. Select the date. And the invoice number is SI002, correctly taken. Next invoice, and customer pickup method. So we can see the shipping method is customer pickup, no need to change. And the item is buying tie 50 unit. So we need to go to the apply to sales tab. There are no orders. You don't have to apply that into the order, right? Because he's ordered something else. We are not going with the order. We are going to the apply to tab, and we will be giving him ties 50 unit. Ties quantity is 50 unit, and the unit price need to be taken from the uh, normal price. So we will be giving him normal price. Let's check, change it to the normal price, 675 per unit. And then the next item, CTL001, also 50 unit, and the normal price, CTL001 50 units, and also the normal price need to be offered for that item. Again, the VAT is applicable, 8% VAT, and also freight charges are charged from the customer 1,500. So we will be entering that as well, 1,500. Total bill value come to 110,970. And to update your ledger accounts, you need to click the save button. So that will update your ledger. Next transaction, HIF001 customer, HIF001 customer, another direct invoicing. 20th of April is the date, change the date. And the invoice number is going to be this time SI003. And the courier method is used for the delivering. And also the items is purchasing office suit 15 inches BL. So we will select office 15 inches blue color, and the quantity you are selling 10 unit with the special price to the customer. So see whether the special price is applicable, then change it to the special price. And the next item, BL001 120 unit with the normal price. So the next line, you can select the BL001 120 units sold, but it is going with the normal price. That is correct, right? 1,200 per unit. So that will be the price applicable to the customer. Then the accounts numbers are appearing automatically, and the VAT amount is 8%. It is also applied. Total bill come to 177,390. No freight charges. So it will be saved and updated in the ledger account. So then we can go to the next customer, AMN001. Customer selected AMN001. And the date of the transaction, 23rd of April. Select the date. And the invoice number 4, that is there. Customer pickup method also there, no need to change. And the blouse 120 units are buying by this customer, BL001 120 units purchased from him. And The value need to be calculated with the normal price. Check whether the normal price is applicable. Correct, 144,000, and the VAT amount is 8%. No freight charges. VAT is applied 11,520 and 155,520. Then save it and update your ledger. Final transaction of invoices. Then we can select AVC001 customer next. AVC001, and the date of the transaction 26th of April. Select the 26th of April. Invoice number 5, customer pickup method, that is there, and the item he is going to buy CTG001 item. So we will select, and the quantity he is purchasing 300 units. 300 unit, price applicable to the customer, special price and 8% VAT. So we'll have to check that and apply the special price and VAT 8%. No freight charges. 729,000 will be the bill amount. No payment made. So we will be saving that. Again, you get the message this customer will exceed the limit notification, and if you say yes, it will allow you to save the transaction. So we'll say yes, and then go to the list please and select all transaction and see whether you got all these invoices what we have created. 8 invoices, one is fully paid and 0 value, no net due amounts. So please check whether all of you are having all this information after creating this invoice. And meantime, how many transactions we have completed up to now, we can check that by going to the report and forms and selecting the general ledger, and then getting the report called transaction detail report. So select the transaction detail report and option all conditions. So whereby you can click OK, and your transactions will be appearing. Total number of transactions completed by now is 32 transactions. So I hope everyone got all the transaction by now and recorded like this. So that by the time you have completed 32 transactions for this particular business organization at this moment, all the dates, transaction type, reference numbers, ID and the name, and the amounts are recorded properly into the system. All these transactions are now gone to the trial balances and the final account as well. At any moment, we can see our final account. So if you want to see the trial balances, again, you can go to the report and forms. You can go to the general ledger. You can ask to generate the general ledger trial balance. Now we will generate that, and initially we will start with the starting point. Initial one, we can go to the current period. We can select, not the current, we can go to the specific period, specific date, and then we can select beginning of the year, right? So beginning of the year, right? So not the today, we will go to the specific period. So the period number, current period is the, what is the current period is the period number 1. So if you want to see the period number 1, that is April month trial balance, you will be opening up April. This is the April month trial balance. You can see balance remaining there is 19 million. That is the current balance. And if you change the date into the month of May, because we have done some transaction for the period 2 as well, and click OK, you can see the period 2 trial balance is different from the period 1. And further, if you want to check whether you have any transaction posted to the period 3, you can select 3. It's still nothing is gone for the period 3. All these recordings are perfectly there. And if you want to see the current status of the business activities or the financial statements, you can go to the calendar period 1. If you want to see, go to the business status, and you can see the status of the April month. This is the current status of the April month. How much the revenue, how much the cost, how much the gross profit, how much the expenses, and what are the net income. So if you change this particular period into the period number 2 and click OK and say no printing, and again no, you can see it is a re-updated further. And the end of May, at the moment, revenue is given, cost of sales given, gross profit is given, expenses given, and the net income is shown. So detailed income statements can generate immediately by clicking these options, right? So these are the situation. We will be discussing all these details later on as well. So I hope you got the idea of how to enter the invoices. Next, we will look at how to enter the customer credit notes.